Good afternoon. So this video is just a really quick explanation of pretty much the Activity 3 project quiz. So if you were in class, I already explained this. This video is for the students that weren't, that might have a couple questions. So first things first, there are going to be 3, and keep in mind this is second period, but any of my algebra ones have the exact same project. So there are a total of 3 attachments that I have included. There's going to be a 4th one that is a link to this video to explain exactly what the work is. Now for Unit 3, we're not going to have a very stereotypical paper and pencil test. We're going to have what is a project. Now if you click on the PDF where it says project quiz, it has everything, all the explanation, also copies, so that way you guys could show your guys' work. So let's just work through all this so that way I make sure that you guys understand. So the objective of this project is the students will be able to apply one variable inequality concepts to the real world around them. Now, the project's going to have 2 different parts. The first part is research. You are to survey 4 different groups of people. Include yourself in each survey to gather data to create an inequality. Ask each group a different question and record your data in the chart. See the next page. Be sure your question is something that can be answered with a number. Now, what are some people you could ask? You can ask yourself, you could ask your family, extended family, grandparents, cousins, your friends, your classmates, your teammates. Pretty much anyone that would answer. But now keep in mind that your questions have to be numerical responses. They can't be like, what's your favorite color? Because then you can't put blue on a number line, right? You want to get a specific number out. Now, there are 2 things that I attached here. And I'll show you the example in a second. If you look at the bottom, notice that this page pretty much has the data sheet. If you would like to use this, print it out. If you don't have printing access, just use a different piece of paper. But what I'm pretty much asking you is for 4 questions. Now, what kind of questions I'm asking they could be anything. Notice that Miss Lamas here showed an example of 4 different types of questions that she asked. How many glasses of water you drink a day? How many books do you read this past year, etc., etc. All you need is 4 questions. Notice that there's a blank space for a 5th. If you do a 5th question and also fill out the information, you'll get extra credit. But notice that these questions all give numerical responses. For instance, how many glasses of water you drink? Notice that Ms. Lamas' mom said 3, her dad said 5, her sister said 8, and so forth and so forth. So this is the research part. This is what I want you guys to be able to do. The questions could be anything you want. They just can't be these 4. So you need to come up with 4 different questions, but you'll notice that they all have to be numerical. They have to be some type of response, and you have to ask 4 different groups. Notice that one of them was your family, extended family, your friends, and then your classmates. Again, I really don't care who you ask as long as it's 4 different groups of people. So you're asking as much people as possible. So that is in itself the research. Now, when you put your project, you need to start with a clean piece of poster board or just a normal printing paper, which is 8 by 5 by 11. I want you to title your poster and then also divide your poster into 4 sections. Notice that each section of the poster will present 1 equation and 1 inequality from the chart. So I also included an example of exactly what I mean. So this is the poster part, or your piece of paper. Inequalities everywhere is my title. Keep in mind, I just didn't put poster. I did not leave it without a title. I have a title there. I cut it into 4 different sections. Each of the 4 sections has information. Now, let me go a little bit more in detail of what each section needs to have. So you go back over here. You need to write down the question that you asked. Order doesn't matter. Just write down the question in each of the 4 boxes. Define the variable for that question. So that means that when you put b is greater than some number, you need to tell me what the b is, the c, and so forth. Use a different variable for each question. Write inequality for the statement for answers that you find. Be sure that you write inequality for each one of these. So one box has to be a greater than, one has to be a less than, one has to be a greater than or equal to, and a less than equal to. Graph each inequality on the number line. Write the answers to the graph using complete sentences and key vocabulary. Make sure you use no more than, less than, greater than, etc., etc. And then at the end, just like usual, take a picture of your poster and your survey, turn it into this homework assignment, and that's pretty much it. Don't forget to use colored pencils, make it look bright, make it look neat. Now, you are going to be graded on this, so make sure, like as I showed here, notice I can read my title clearly. I know what all my 4 boxes, I have all my information. If you click back here, notice that the first page is just instructions. The second page is literally the rubric, where if you look at your poster and you say, hey, have I wrote my 4 questions down? You're going to get 4 points. If you ask the minimum amount of people, each minimum for each question is 5. So I need to have 5 people answer. Do you have a title? So forth and so forth. Notice that when you turn this in, you're going to know what your grade is. So everyone should be getting really good. This project is going to go in the test category. So these last 2 pages are just like pretty much templates if you want to use them. If you don't want to use your separate piece of paper, just print this guy out. You could ask your question and you could fill out your response. I know it says your family, your extended family. They don't have to be your family, extended family, friends, classmates, etc., etc. As long as there are 4 different groups of people, I'm okay with that. This one is just an extra page, so that way you guys could do your poster here. So if you want to make your 4 boxes using this page, you can. If not, just use a different piece of paper. It doesn't really matter. So this is going to be due at the end of the week. If you have any questions, please let me know, especially if you're in class or out of class. I could even go over, make sure that you have all the things written down. But other than that, that's pretty much your quiz. Yeah.